Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com with an unboxing plus on-feet video of the Mizuno Morelia Neo in the brand new orange and blue colorway. So we'll open up the box here to get a look at what is on the inside. Mizuno does include a string bag with their top-end models, most of the time at least. This particular string bag is black. You got your Morelia Neo branding there on the front, with the Mizuno branding there on the back, of course. So I'll get that out of the way, get the shoes out of the box, and if you guys could take a quick second to leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. So here is a look at the orange and blue Morelia Neo. This is a shoe that a lot of soccer enthusiasts are really big fans of, but the difficulty with Mizuno or the Morelia Neo just in general is that they're hard to come by and not necessarily readily available, especially if you live in North America. Mizuno Soccer is not sold in North America, so if you do want to get a pair of these, you're going to have to order from Europe or Asia or wherever else it may be that they carry Mizuno brand soccer shoes. Now the place where I got mine actually does sell these things internationally, and I will leave buy it now links down below in the description to both the firm ground, mixed sole soft ground, as well as even some of the takedown models of the Mizuno Morelia Neo. Like I said, it's the same place where I got mine. It's a UK based retailer. They ship internationally for very affordable prices, and if you guys are interested in getting a pair of Morelia Neos for an affordable price, I strongly suggest going ahead and checking out those buy it now links. Again, you can find those down below in the description. These deals will not last long. They don't carry a lot of these Mizunos, so if you want to get a pair, I suggest pulling the trigger as soon as possible. As far as the performance goes on the Morelia Neo, I have done a written review of this shoe a long time ago. I will leave a link down below in the description to that if you want to check that out. But as far as a playtest video goes, this is the shoe that I was planning to do next. I know a lot of you guys would be curious as to the overall performance of the Morelia Neo, so leave a comment down below. Is this the next shoe you would like to see a playtest of, or is there another shoe that you have in mind that you'd like to see in front of the Morelia Neo? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Now, as far as what makes the Morelia Neo such an attractive option from a performance standpoint is that yes, it is very similar from an overall design standpoint to the Adidas F50 Adizero, which has become one of the most popular shoes currently out there on the market. But what's interesting about the Mizuno Morelia Neo is just the overall quality of materials, the quality of the fit. In my opinion, this is a better quality shoe than the F50 Adizero. Now, the Morelia Neo is only available in a leather upper variation, unlike the F50 Adizero, which you can also get in synthetic. But the leather on this particular shoe, to me, is at least a lot better quality than what you're going to find from the F50 Adizero. From this seam right about here, going all the way around the forefoot and toe box area, cutting off at this seam right there. The shoe is made from high quality kangaroo leather. It's very, very soft. Has a decent kind of thickness about it as well. It's going to provide that nice soft touch on the ball, and is also going to form and stretch to your feet, which is obviously very, very important for a soccer shoe. There isn't a ton of leather on the shoe, but there's enough there to where it is noticeable when you are making touches on the ball, and it's something that I'm personally a really big fan of. From the forefoot back, you will find that the shoe is made from a synthetic material. It is a little bit on the thinner side, but it still has a nice kind of padded sensation about it. The tongue itself is also made from the same type of material. You can get an idea of the thickness right there. So it does have that leather-like quality about it, especially in terms of its finish, but it isn't quite as padded or as soft as the rest of the upper, but it still is going to provide that nice lockdown feel and prevent any kind of overstretching through the midfoot, which is obviously very, very important. You will find also on the tongue, right above the forefoot area of the shoe, or of the foot I should say, you will find an open mesh ventilation port on the shoe itself that will allow for a little bit of airflow, which is kind of a unique feature for the Mizuno Morelia Neo. As far as the cut in the ankle goes, it isn't necessarily all that low cut. It seems to hug your ankle really, really nicely and holds everything locked in place really well, especially once you do pull the laces tight. This is also due to the central lacing system that has kind of these staggered lace holes as opposed to being completely straight down. So when you do pull the laces tight, everything is locked in place really, really well, and you won't have to worry about retightening your shoes every 20 minutes or so, because everything just keeps really locked down inside of the shoe, which is obviously, again, very, very important. As far as the heel liner goes, it is a natural suede heel liner. It goes around the ankle collar as well. Very, very soft material, and it does its part to keep your heel locked in place, which is obviously something that I'm personally a really big fan of. I love natural suede heel liners, and you don't necessarily see that when you're talking about a shoe that is this lightweight. As far as the insole itself goes, it is fully removable, as you guys can see. It's a black insole. You got your Morelia Neo branding right there at the heel, and the material here is kind of like a has a rough texturing about it, and a lot of people will equate that to being uncomfortable, and it feels a little bit cheap at first, but once you put your foot inside of the shoe, you realize what the idea is behind it. It's designed to really grip your sock and prevent any kind of slippage on the inside of the shoe when you are making quick lateral movements. It's a similar concept to True Socks, but not quite as effective, and to me is just a really good idea for a soccer shoe, and one of my personal favorite features of the Morelia Neo. The insole itself is just your standard one piece of foam. It's a decent thickness for such a lightweight soccer shoe, and definitely does its job to provide that nice step in comfort, which is obviously very important with any soccer shoe. As far as the one-piece outsole and heel counter goes, again, this is a very similar design to the F50 Adizero. It's kind of hard to design a shoe this way that's not going to draw comparisons to that particular shoe simply because they did it first, but the one-piece heel counter and outsole design is definitely the lightest way of making a soccer shoe, which is why Mizuno has gone in this particular direction for the Morelia Neo, which is essentially their speed boot, if you will. So you do have your external plastic heel counter. Unlike the F50 Adizero, the sole plate and heel counter is made from a Pebax material as opposed to your standard TPU plastic, so it is a little bit more flexible, not quite as rigid as what you're going to find from the Adizero, making for a slightly smoother ride when you are running in these things, which is something that I'm personally a really big fan of. You still have plenty of rigidity through the midfoot here. You can see there is kind of a crisscross design going on there with that little bit of extra plastic just to make sure that there's plenty of rigidity through the midfoot when you are running and striking the ball, which again is important with any type of soccer shoe. Something that's a little bit different about this particular Mizuno Morelia Neo in comparison to any of the past colorways is the way that they've laid out the sole plate and the studs themselves. On the past versions of the Morelia Neo, the studs themselves kind of ran out from the sole plate from one single piece, whereas this time around you can see there's a ring on the sole plate and then the studs kind of protrude through these rings, and that goes for the same here in the heel. There's also a little bit of an extension in these studs as well, making them almost more bladed shaped than they are conical. I'm not sure if this is going to have an impact on the performance. I would bet that it won't, but it is an interesting thing that Mizuno has changed up on some of the newer colorways of the Morelia Neo for reasons that have gone kind of unexplained. So that's pretty much it as far as the unboxing portion of this video goes, and I move on to a quick weigh-in so you can get a better idea as to how lightweight these guys are. The Morelia Neo is the lightest shoe that Mizuno is currently producing, and it has a very lightweight feel both in hand and on feet. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind that this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that these guys weigh in at 6.6 ounces, under that 7 ounce mark, making for a very, very lightweight soccer shoe. So for the sake of comparison, I do have a brand new pair of F50 Adizeros in leather, again in a size 9 US, so very, very fair comparison. We'll throw that on the scale, and you can see that these weigh in at 7.15 ounces, so they do weigh a little bit more than the Mizuno Morelia Neo. Granted, there is a little bit more leather on the upper of the Adizero, and again, is this a noticeable amount of weight? Absolutely not, especially when the shoes are on feet, but for the sake of comparison, the Morelia Neo is just a little bit lighter than the current model leather Adizero, so just keep that in mind. So that's pretty much it for the weigh-in portion of this video, and I move on to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the Mizuno Morelia Neos on feet, and you can tell just by how it looks how well this shoe actually fits. It wraps your foot very, very nicely, and like any natural leather soccer shoe, there is a break-in period just to allow the leather to stretch and soften up to form to your feet, but for the most part these are very, very comfortable and very wearable from right out of the box. As far as the width on the shoe is concerned, it's about an average width shoe. It does have a tighter fit overall, especially through the midfoot. I have about average width feet, and you can see that I'm not necessarily at the maximum of what the shoe can handle, but pretty close to it. So if you do have very wide feet, this probably isn't going to be the best option for you. It also does have a tighter fit in the heel, and the forefoot area, while it is made out of kangaroo leather, will stretch a little bit. So it does feel, if it does feel a little bit tight from right out of the box, don't worry, just give it a couple hours of wear time and it will feel a lot more comfortable. As far as sizing goes, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. It is worth keeping in mind that Mizunos generally do fit true to size, so if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going for your usual size for the best possible fit. So that's pretty much it for the on-feet portion of this video, and move on to my final thoughts. Alright guys, that's it for my unboxing of the Mizuno Morelia Neo. This is an absolutely fantastic shoe that a lot of people miss out on simply because of the availability. If you were looking at something like the leather F50 Adizero, this is also something to consider, especially if you are looking for a pair of shoes at this point in time, because there are those buy it now links down below in the description for the firm ground, soft ground mixed sole, as well as the takedown models for the Mizuno Morelia Neo. Again, keep in mind that stock is limited, so if you want to get a pair of these, be sure to get them right away, again, through those links down below in the description. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you guys have any questions, be sure to leave a comment down below, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you did enjoy today's video, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you want more information on the overall performance, my full written review is also linked down below in the description, so be sure to go ahead and check that out. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.